Good day, beautiful people. I hope you guys are having a great day because I am. You just don't even understand all the blessings that are already coming to me early this morning. And I'm just excited because today we have a beautiful guest that I was able to meet because we were online. And when I'm telling you, you don't realize sometimes how these online connections can turn into really great relationships. But this lady that I'm about to bring on, she just blows me away. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, because you know I like to give you a little snippet, right? She has a huge community, and when I say huge, I mean huge. But she has a huge community of Black married couples. Come on, somebody. Come on. Y'all don't even understand what that means, right? So, in today's day and age, when you have all kinds of things that people can join, Black Marriage Club is one of the things that I think is an extraordinary opportunity for people to be able to just express love, to be able to get together online. And then not only is it online, but she also has in person things too. So, without further ado, I want to bring on Miss Shobowale. Come on in here. Yes. Hey,
Hello,
girl.
Miss Shobowale. If you
Yeah,
guys
that's why
get it
I
right,
had to
most
say, I
people
want to
say
give you a little
Shobowale.
extraness.
How are you?
I am so good. I am so good. And it's so good to see you. So when we first met online, you were on the East Coast. And now
Hmm.
you are all the way over on the other side, right, in
Yes,
Texas.
yes.
So how is Texas treating you?
I love it. I love it. Backstory on the move. As you mentioned, we are a social club for marriages. Again, my name is Nai Shobowale, and we are Black Marriage Club. So that being said, we are structured just like a social club, and so we have chapters. And Houston is our largest chapter, so I gotta go where my people are. And so I moved down to Houston and have welcomed me and as the ambassador of that chapter so well. Our we just have just reached one of our first sold out events in that chapter. So I love
Yes.
it. All things big in Texas, right? So I
Yes.
love the South. I am a DMV native, grew up in PG County, Maryland, and so it's different. They nice down there. So I love it.
No, that's a wonderful thing. So, my first question has to be what even made you decide that you were going to start a Black marriage club? And I would think that there were a lot of different things that you could have done. And I know there were some other things that you did do. But what made you say, listen, Black people need a club to be together? What made you say that?
Funny story. I tell it all the time, but it hits home every time. It started from double dating, and so I had a distant friend. We wasn't quite close, more like associates. We had met back up, kind of reconnected through social media in high school, and she was like, "Hey, I didn't know you got married." And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Let's double date." And so we went to Top Golf. True
Mhm.
story, and we was like, "Okay." And then the power of being surrounded around like-minded people, we left that. As soon as we left Top Golf, we were like, okay, the next time we go on a double date, let's come up with a business idea. They were already in an entrepreneurial space, and I just was happy to be a newlywed, to be honest. And so I was like, okay, let's just see. And so honestly, as me and my husband were going to the second date, that whole time we were just chiming like, we were not entrepreneurs. I had a small business at the time, but it was just a hobby more than a business.
Mhm.
Many years before I got married, and so I was like, you know what? This is our business right here. This is our business model. This is something that we need. My mentor at the time told me to find a need and fill it. And
Mhm.
I did just that. And so I had no married friends, just being transparent,
Mhm.
in a community that has high, non-married people
Mhm.
and percentages of divorces and never to be married, never seen the blessings of marriage. I was like, I want to bring people together through community. I've always been the host even if nobody shows up, and so
Mhm.
I was like, I want to bring people together through the same space of matrimony. And so it took off. We started in the DMV and we went on from there. And I think after that we started Atlanta. We followed our analytics through social media,
Mhm.
and we went on to Atlanta, Houston, and now we even have a chapter in Lagos, Nigeria. So I'm so excited about that.
Ooh. Okay. Now listen, I didn't know about that the Legos chapter. So
Yes.
this is to me that's something that's amazing. So you looked at this as, listen, I wasn't trying to be an entrepreneur at the time,
Mm-mm.
but I found that there was something that was necessary. And not only did it fill a need for you personally, but then it turned into something that was a professional thing. So when I gave you the title of saying married to the business, like that for me is exactly what happened with you, because when you start to look at that, a lot of times, people won't take what they have personally and think that somebody else needs them. But it's just like me and my husband. We do not have a whole lot of married friends. We do have some, but at the same time, people flake out a lot. And so,
I've learned.
we got into the flake out thing. We were like, listen, it's just me and you. So we always say C and B, right? So we, CMB, we still together. Like that's just us, right? And so what we try to do is, if there is something that we can go to and invite other people, then yeah, you do that. But you find oftentimes that people are not necessarily committed. But what I've seen with your club is that the people are not only committed, then they take the initiative to also plan events as well, which then kind of takes a little bit off of your, of your plate, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what encourages other people to say, listen, Nay, I want to be a part of this and I would love to be an ambassador? What do you think about your brand is really pulling those people in?
I'm going to be very honest with you. What gets the retention is Black men, and it's very transparent. That's what we've noticed. Definitely this year is the conversation behind the lack of representation for a space for Black men to relate to other Black men, and that's what retains our members, and it brings people to say, I want to represent my area, right? Does life happen? Have we had tons of ambassadors that signed up and maybe never hosted an event or said they would like to do it and, life got in the way? Of course. But I think the retention lies in having this social space where we laugh, but we share the story of infidelity and how they overcame it, or we share the story of, maternity challenges. I shared my challenge of, almost having a stroke with my son in a community where mortality rates amongst Black women in pregnancy is so high. And so when you get to these like-minded stories, these spaces where you feel safe and secure, they're like, I want that, because it doesn't remnant therapy, but it remnants comfort, and it remnants a safe, secure space where I can be myself and not be judged. I'm very, 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 very adamant about privacy amongst our purple. So all of our ambassadors sign NDAs.
Okay.
They all sign NDAs. They all sign non-competes, just so we can keep this in-house.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's an important thing, because just thinking about that from the business side, a lot of people steal. A lot of people love an idea and then they feel like they want to do it themselves. But I've always been of the mind of, why can't we just work together?
Absolutely.
And so, when we talked, and I don't even know if I should tell some of the people some of the things we've talked about.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely.
All
And,
the
it's so
details.
crazy. It's so much power in collaboration, because
It is.
I've met therapists through you, and they have been such a great help to my community, because I don't aspire to be a therapist. I actually don't even aspire to be a relationship coach. Will I coach wives through their issues? Yes. But God told me my clear vision, and that's to create the space, not be the space. And so I collaborate with people like you and therapists and clinicians and things like that to make sure that I'm providing the social setting, but also the help that they need, and diverting them to a licensed or certified professional that can really, really help them versus, all right, y'all, let's just go bowling and brunch, right? So you got to give the good with the bad, back to the retention point, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what it is. And I thank you for that. Like, the power of collaboration, people just don't know. I can't tell you how many Black marriage clubs started from Black Marriage Club, but the reality is, that doesn't bother me. I'm in a space now, my entrepreneurial spirit, that great, but I got to keep going. Like, I can't stop because there's more competitors. Of course, there'll be tons of social clubs, but there'll be only one Black marriage club. So
no, but I mean, it's just the things that you do, to me, I like the community. And so I want to talk about one of the things that you use in order to build your community specifically. And you're using the platform of Mighty Networks. So what made you choose that platform, and how have you found that to be advantageous in growing your business?
I have looked at so many different avenues. My biggest thing is, how can I get the announcements of our events and meetups out the fastest,
Mhm.
right? I'm working against the algorithm of social media. I'm working against my emails going to spam. And so I was like, I want to get to my members and announce that Atlanta's going to be at such and such at this time. And so Mighty Networks was actually the best option for me because I can divvy up my chapters and I can have, they actually, give me discretion on who maintains membership versus me doing a lot of manual work. But it is kind of a challenge to remind people to go into an app they may not be familiar with. But in instances like Mighty Networks, you can go live and do things like that. So that's our platform. It has helped me grow, but I am looking at adding additional options on top of Mighty Networks, i.e. chapter group chats and things like that, to get to our members and have them congregate in this space, even if they're not familiar with the app. So that's some of the things that we're going to possibly be testing and implementing in the fall. In quarter 4 or quarter 1 is accompanied with Mighty Networks, a group chat exclusive to these circles of life. How do you overcome infidelity or things like that? And so that's what we're looking at now. There's tons of different things. We looked at Memberium, so many membership platforms.
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of them. A lot of them. And
Yeah.
we have some things that we want to do. And so, one of the things is there are always a lot of platforms. There's always something new coming out, and there's always a comparison kind of contrast thing. But I think once you find something that is working, then that's kind of what you stick with. And so for your members, this now gives them a place to be able to go, to be able to still continue those conversations, and then to be able to also host some of those live events inside of there as well. And so just give me, I know you can't give me all of the details, but the therapist that she was talking about is Just Me Therapy podcast. And so it's an excellent podcast. They are based here in Greensboro, North Carolina. It is 3 Black women. And, one of the things that I said was this would be a great connection for you two because of the fact that you are working with couples, families, and primarily underserved communities. And she is working specifically with Black couples, right? And so this kind of pairs in. The thing that I think that's important about therapy is, and this is one thing I love about Just Me Therapy, is that they say sometimes it's not the husband and the wife that need to work on, the things together. It's the husband or the wife. And then you can come together and do some stuff. So just in some of the things that you've done with them so far, how have your members responded to being able to talk to licensed therapists?
Oh, absolutely. I think they look the viewpoint is broader, right? So a lot of times when couples argue, they're so focused on you didn't wash the dishes or you didn't do whatever the task is at hand. And I think in collaboration with with therapists such as Just Be Podcast, they now look at a broader perspective. They now look at this is deeper than dishes. This is, my mother used to wake me up at 3 a.m. to wash dishes, and you give me these remnants of how I felt when she did that, and so these are deeper issues. And again, that's why it's so important to put people in these spaces, because if we're just congregating arguing about dishes, what actually happens? What gets resolved? What issues are brought to surface, right? And so this is why it's so important and so amazing that they talked about marriage and mental health, how things go hand in hand. And they went live a couple of weeks ago, which was amazing. We're actually about to do another event and to talk about the same thing, because it's so very, 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 very important that it's deeper than what you can see. And if we can get to that point, then we're better off as a couple. It's much deeper than what we're arguing about or disagreeing about, or it's deeper. It's I'm feeling insecure, insufficient, whatever the case may be. And a therapist brings that out of you without judgment or bias, right? I tell people all the time, if you're trying to save your marriage, the worst thing you can do is talk about it without a mediator.
Oh, yeah. Or talk about it to people who are going to judge or talk about it to people who don't understand exactly some of the things that you're going through. Because one thing that I know for a fact is being married is not the same thing as boyfriend, girlfriend. It's not the same thing as just dating. It's not the same thing as I'm going to see you when I see you. No, this is a everyday. And I always looked at, once we got into, okay, this is what we're really doing.
Right.
I look at it as a business relationship, you need things and I need things, but we need things together. And, I have to realize it's a give and take kind of
Right.
thing. And, I think especially over these last couple of years with everything happening with COVID, I have become more empathetic. We have better conversations, right? And I do think that a part of that is us taking therapy throughout that time frame, because it is different when you just live your regular lives, right? But then COVID forced you to be together and forced you to really learn each other again. And I think for me, that was a good thing. But for other people, that was like, listen, I don't really like who you are now, and I'm going to divorce you. And I'm just like, you know what? COVID made me say, I really love you. Like, I really love you even more than I thought that I loved you. And let's keep on going, like, let's keep doing this. So I think that that's an important thing. But one thing that you do that is an amazing thing, and I'm trying to see schedule wise is just not working out with me. But let me tell you what she's gonna do. She's gonna be taking the people to Jamaica. So tell everybody about your trip, about going to Jamaica, because I'm like, first of all, I haven't been to Jamaica. Second of all, I'm like, that is always the time that it's like homecoming time, and that's like my biggest time.
Yeah, you mentioned that on the last live. You said that.
So it's like October just does not work for me, because in this area, that is just such a huge time to get all of, what you're going to get before the end of the year. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to reschedule one of these years, and I'm going to come down there in October with y'all. But tell them about Jamaica, because this might encourage you to want to join Black Marriage Club, and then you can go to Jamaica with the club.
So again, my aunt is in my life, but I love her to death. But
real life.
Like, I'm gonna give you some juice while you do this. But again, Jamaica is amazing. So going back to what I said about the retention is from Black men, that was the first time that we actually separated the couples physically at events. Okay. And so they all was like, I want to do that again. And it was a time coming off of COVID, coming off of just a crazy year, that it was like, I get to be with you and I can relax. Like, I don't even, not even a Zoom, like, I don't want to do any of that. I get to relax. We've been working with our kids from home or whatever the case may be. And it was the first time, but we had an amazing time. Jamaica is going to up the ante. We have a all-white dinner party on the pier. We have a couples excursion where we actually going to go away from the resort. This is all included in the VIP package. And we have the Thrive and Love seminar. That's the best part. So we do have licensed therapists that's going to be talking about intimacy at the Jamaica retreat. And I think it's how we do events here locally, but on the next level. It's bigger on the next level. Yeah. Because we definitely have to have a space where, I tell people all the time, get away from home. Get away from the hustle and bustle of your house. And it reminds you of kind of like the problem. So when you in some beach water and a Mai Tai, it makes you feel good about yourself, right? It makes you feel good about your marriage and relationship. And again, it's the balance, right? We have fun, we have a good time, we drink, we socialize, we meet other couples, but then we get the relationship help that we need. So 4 nights, 5 days, it's going to be an amazing, amazing, amazing time. I cannot wait. Some of the things that we're doing different this year, again, being very intentional about getting the couples away, even out the room with the excursion. We didn't have the excursion last year, but we will this year. It's just going to be a great time. Awesome, awesome time. We're actually running a promo code specifically for people who are watching this live right now. If you use the code Black Love, go to any of our social media platforms at blackmarriageclub.com, Black Marriage Club, Instagram, Black Marriage Club, Facebook, Black Marriage Club, anywhere. You will get the promo code. Just use Black Love. You get $175 off of the VIP registration. They're going super fast. And so make sure that you sign up. And use
Okay,
the
so go to blackmarriageclub.com. The code is Black Love, and they get $175 off. All right, let's put that up so people can see that. Yes, y'all. All right, so the biggest thing that I think is the nucleus of what you do. It is building community, right? And so we see a lot of stuff that's posted online. I love your memes because I love the funny stuff that's posted. Those things that are so relatable that it's just like I'm like, I'd be like, look at this. See, this is us, right? Like you have to just share that kind of stuff.
Right.
But when you talk about building community, how many people do you have now? It's over 15,000. What is that now?
On our platform, so I have 140,000 people in my Facebook group.
Okay, see, y'all.
140,000 people in my Facebook group. I have 12,000 on Instagram, almost 12,000, and I have 24,000 on TikTok.
Come on, y'all.
So we're moving, but I tell people all the time, you can have a platform, but if you're really not like serving them and giving them and adding value and helping them with what you say you help them with, then it's kind of pointless, right? Like I'd rather have 2 followers and they actually believe in the sanctity of marriage or making it work at least than 1,000 people like I hate my man, and like you gotta want it. You gotta really be intentional about at least wanting it. Are things kind of acting quanky right now? Of course, but you gotta want to be in a space with Black Marriage Club to at least try to make your marriage work. Build and invest in your relationship. A lot of people, when they ask me about Jamaica, why does it cost? Well, if you were to invest in your vehicle, if you were investing,
why does it cost? Did they think I was supposed to go to Jamaica for free?
It's the space. But if you were to invest in your vehicle, if you was to invest in your hair, your marriage is the thing that takes you further than all those things. And so when you get connected with the right person, so definitely invest in your marriage.
Yeah, but anybody that says that's not the people that we're talking about.
Right, exactly.
But see, I don't think that people understand investment is a financial thing, but it's also a time and effort thing, and that's what I think that you're really trying to get through to us, is that it's money, but it's time, it's the energy that you put into it as well. And it's not just one person, it is the combination of both of you really trying to make something work. Right. So what do you think, like when you said, okay, how did you go from I'm starting this idea and we're on a double date to let's build this community, and then now being able to amass it to such huge numbers where people are actually paying attention and coming in on a daily basis and being able to contribute? What do you think were some of those steps that led to that success?
Off the break, the power of collaboration. Off the break, people in this day and age, they're so focused on I can do it myself, and I would never be anywhere I am without the power of collaboration. The speakers that are coming to Jamaica, they're licensed therapists. They showed up to my first wives event, and they were the only wives to show up. But they stayed with me through these years, and they stuck it out with me. They seen the vision, and it takes being connected with other entrepreneurs to understand that. But they understood what I was trying to do, and they never faulted me or looked at me as less than, because they knew I was just starting out, really didn't know what I was doing. But the power of collaboration is so powerful, and people underestimate a handshake. Hey, I'm Nai Shobowale from Black Marriage Club. I provide a safe space for couples to thrive through social events, retreats, and conferences. Your pitch is amazing. And so I think the power of collaboration is very important. I think definitely getting outside of your comfort zone. I spoke at a conference yesterday, and they asked me I spoke about entrepreneurship and relationship in the relationship industry, being an entrepreneur, and you have to get out your comfort zone. So I have an IT background. I'm a network security engineer, but outside of that, I took what I knew and I built my own cloud servers for my digital products. I got outside my comfort zone. I'm usually a private person, but I had to talk about some of the things that I went through in my own marriage and still going through. And so I think people are like, and I said this, I said, everybody want to be a coach, but they say they don't like people. Like, I want to be a coach. I don't like people. I'm like, you got to kind of like people to be a coach. And so
to be effective.
So getting outside my comfort zone and definitely doing things that didn't feel good, but I knew was good for me. If that makes sense. I knew God was connecting and ordering my steps in such a way that I had to step outside the box and do things that I had never done before. I mean, I never took 22 couples, almost 50 people to Jamaica that I did not know. with a travel agent that I never did a trip before. And so it's like, well, this was the number one thing couples requested to do. And so you have to answer that call. And so just stepping outside and having faith. It doesn't look like how it may be, but I just kept with it. Again, so many people that collabed with me, ambassadors even, and then they started their own thing, their own couples group. And I had to just take it on the chin, not publicly bash or anything, and just say, you know what, God, continue to use me, continue to work with me, regardless of what I may see or who I may feel or who I lost. Be okay with being alone sometimes. I had to be alone in my journey. I had to lose friends in this journey. And it's okay. Like the networks that I'm in right now and the spaces that I'm entering, I see why God replenishes. So he'll take away, but he'll put back, always.
Come on. So listen, if y'all didn't, okay, so listen, you got me over here speechless. So at the end, usually I ask people to like leave people with a word, right? Or leave them with, some piece of motivation. But I think that right there was it, like God is going to take away, but he's also going to replenish. And
Absolutely.
a lot of times people have that scarcity mindset. A lot of times people feel like, well, they stole from me, they took this and whatever. And the idea and the vision is still yours, right? And so they're not going to do it like you did yours. And they may not like the way that you did something, but they learned something, which is why they felt like it was worthy of them going and doing their own version. And it is enough room for everybody to do something, right?
Absolutely.
So even with all the people that you have that are following you and that are part of your, your community, it's still room for somebody else to do what they want to do on another side of things. And everybody can still build, especially if we all have the same motivation, right? So I think that that's a wonderful thing. Now, I'm just not, because we have to talk some more, so I'm not going to tell them all the things that we talked about, but just know we're going to do some things.
Absolutely.
There have been some transitions that have been happening over here with the Browns. So based on those transitions, we had to move some stuff out. And, for me, everybody that knows I'm the 90-day focus. If it doesn't fit into that 90-day focus, it's got to keep getting moved until it's going to come. And I believe in, divine order and divine timing, that you can have a great idea, but that doesn't mean that it's time for you to execute it right now.
Absolutely.
And so that's why I'm not even going to tell them all of the stuff that we're going to talk about, because there's so many great things coming up.
Absolutely.
But when people are saying, listen, I need what you have, just tell them where you can be found online, so that this way they can go ahead and they can jump in. And if you just want to give them like one great reason why they should definitely follow your movement and follow your community, what would that great reason be?
You are better together than you are apart. And I mean it in a full capacity of your life. Not just with your spouse, but the people you surround yourself with. You show me your 5 closest friends, I'll show you your future. And so it's very important that you surround yourself with like-minded people who are going where you want to go or already am, and they invest in you and you invest in them. We are at such a transition in life, and it's so important and it's critical that you allow the right people access to you. And so you can do that with Black Marriage Club. Come and get connected. Even if you're not married, but you're in a committed relationship, and you're having those conversations, I beg of you to have a glimpse of what marriage is really like through other couples that have already done it. All right. So you can find us at www.blackmarriageclub.com. You can connect with any of the 8 chapters, plus Lagos, Nigeria, 8 domestic chapters, plus Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos, Nigeria ambassador is expecting right now. So we don't have any active events right now in that chapter, but we will be in the fall, hopefully. But right now, you can connect with all the other 8 local chapters. DMV has a chapter, Houston, Atlanta, New York, Charlotte, and I'm missing one, New York, Charlotte, Chicago. Okay. So get connected with couples that can help your relationship thrive. It is critical. It is critical to surround yourself around the right people. We can be found at all social media platforms at blackmarriageclub.com. Social media platforms that you don't even know about, because I reserve my name everywhere. blackmarriageclub.com.
You better brand it, girl. I love that. I love it so much.
We're trademarked throughout. So make sure you follow us everywhere. Black Marriage Club. Black Marriage Club.
Yes, Nai, thank you so much for being on today. I appreciate your time, your effort, your energy, and definitely what you do. And, I always look at the people that I admire, and I specifically wanted you to come on during Women's History Month, because I felt like women needed to see somebody that is excelling and that is doing something different, something that everybody else is not doing, right? But doing it your way, and then providing a resource that is necessary that maybe everybody else is not even thinking about. And so that's one of the things I think you do a great job with. And I'm just happy to know you and to be connected. So everybody, if you're watching on the replay, make sure that you can still leave comments. And if you are watching us live, thank you so much for watching today. And if you're going to listen on the podcast, you know what you have to do. Make sure you always show up and show out and continue to give it to the people. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye.